In this video, I'm going to show you how to start your pivot animation. You will be able to start your pivot animation after you have filled out your pivot storyboard and had that checked off with your teacher. In order to start our pivot animation, we need to have a background. And so we're going to first use Creative Commons to find a background, or you can create your own background using Paint, which is in your Start menu. If you click Start, go to All Programs, under Accessories, the folder Accessories, you can select Paint, and then you can draw your own background. Maybe you want a grass and sky or a tree, so you can draw that and save that as an image, and you can use Paint, or we can find one from the internet. So here I've typed in Creative Commons, and I'm going to click the CC search, so the Creative Commons search. This allows me to find images that have given me the rights to use it. I just need to say where I got my image. So I'm going to find a beach scene, so I'm just going to type in beach. And I'm going to select this first image here. And I'm not going to copy and paste it from here. I need to click on View Image, so it's the biggest version of the image that exists here online. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to save the image as. So because I have not created a pivot folder yet, I would need to do that. And I would want to put this pivot folder in my H drive. So if I click on Computer and click on H drive, you would select New Folder and you would just type Pivot. I happen to have a pivot folder already, and so that could have happened if you had me in a different class. So I click on Pivot, and in here I'm going to name this as my background for my pivot number 1. So this is for my first pivot background. I'm going to click Save. Now all I need to do is add my pivot background to Pivot. So you can find Pivot on your desktop. It's a little stick figure guy called Pivot Animator. So I double click, and when I open Pivot, you'll see a white space and then like a gray space. So this white space is our work area, and right now it's a certain size. If I want to go to File and Load Background, I have a couple of options. I'll need to click on Computer. I'll have to go to my H drive and find my pivot folder. Once I've found my pivot folder, I can then load the background. So background for pivot number 1, click Open. So once you've clicked Open, it's going to give you two options. Do you want to make your picture fit the background size, or do you want your picture to be really huge and just have it fill up your entire screen? If I do not want my background to change to the dimensions of my image, I would select No. And when I do that, my picture fits the background that's already created, which is proportional to my stick figure, so that's probably the best option. If I didn't do that, let me close Pivot and open it again and show you what happens if I do not say no. Load background, select my image, click Open, and then I allow Pivot to change the dimensions of my background to my image. You could have an image that's really, really big, or an image that's really, really small. So you can see I can't even see all of my picture, plus it looks pretty stretched and blurry. And so this is not what I would want to do. So I'm going to go back to the other option, just having my background stick with the dimensions of the pivot. Oh, and my background, sorry. When I open this, my background to my pivot was the same as the picture before, so I'm going to change the options of my background. So if I go to the Edit when I open Pivot, click on Options, you can see that my width is 4,000, my height is 3,000. I'm going to make my width 800 and my height 600, and that's going to give me a nice good size. And then I'm not going to have my background change. So I'm going to open my image and I'm going to say no. And this is a nice good size. So that's how you add a background to your pivot.